Students, now we are going to see the property of flotation and density. Here I have taken some materials, some objects, some lighter objects, okay, like a ball, eraser, spoon, iron screw, wooden ring, and one earring, $1, okay, one metal ring, bottle cap, ball. So I already have a container. In the container, water is filled into the half of the container only. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to drop an object one by one. Okay. Just observe what happened here, and also you can note down the observations. If I drop one by one, some objects sink to the bottom. Sink in water. Sink in water. Some objects float on water. Why do you think this happens? See, half of the object float, half of the object sink to the bottom. Okay. So you know that the objects that float are very lighter. Okay. The objects that sink are heavier. Okay. So the lighter objects float, the heavier objects sink. What decides whether an object will float or sink in water? See, it is density. So, a substance with a density lower than that of water floats on it, whereas the substance with a density higher than water sinks to the bottom. Do you understand now? So, the density with the higher sink to the bottom, the density with the lower float on a water. Okay. Now, what is density? Density is defined as a substance. Density of a substance is defined as mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume. You know, mass, this weight of the object is the mass. Volume means the amount of the substance occupied, no, that we can say volume. Okay. So here if you compare to the iron materials, wooden block, this ball, plastic ball, and rubber foam, all have a higher volume but low density. Okay. But the iron screw, lock, eraser, dollar, small stone, all have a very less volume but a higher mass. Okay. So the ratio between the mass and the volume gives the density of the substance. Now, we can also explain by showing the objects. Just take down the example of this wooden block. The wooden block has a higher volume. Okay. This ball has a higher volume. This foam also has a higher volume. All other materials sink to the bottom now. All have a volume very less. Very less. But mass would be what? Higher. Mass would be higher. That is why what happened here, higher density, as they all have a higher density than water, they sink to the bottom. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, again we can explain in detail. This is the foam, this is the iron screw. Compare both volume. When we compare both volume, the volume of this iron screw is very lesser than the foam. But a mass would be what? Higher in the screw, lesser in the foam. So here this iron screw has a higher density than water, whereas the foam has a lower density than water. That is why the foam float, iron screw sink.